big news out of Birmingham City yesterday, which may well have opposition championship fans and indeed CEOs looking on fearfully at the sheer level of ambition and investment promised by Knighthead Capital, Birmingham City's owners. Now, the bulk of this is off-pitch stuff, but we all know that it's going to very, very closely interlink with what is going to be going on the pitch, not just next season, but in the years to come at Birmingham City. So, look, I'm not a politics expert or a development expert, and go and read the excellent Brian Dick over on Birmingham Live, who's always brilliant on Birmingham City. But my understanding is what was confirmed yesterday was the promise from the UK government for the transport links and for the money to be ring-fenced, to be spent on the transport links for the sporting quarter over in Birmingham, in that area, and around the stadium for Birmingham City at the moment. What the hell is the sporting quarter? Well, think of Manchester City indeed, and the Etihad campus, and not just the development of a stadium, but they have bought tons of land around St Andrews, where Birmingham play right now, and there are gigantic plans to regenerate the entire area. And from what I understand, it sounds like there's been a bit of ping pong being played by Birmingham and the government, i.e. one of them saying, we've got tons of money and we want to completely invest and redevelop this, quite deprived, frankly, no offence to that area of Birmingham, but it's not lavish over there, and they're going to come in and develop it, but they also need help from the government, who are going to be very pleased that this big investor's going to spend loads of money in that area. And I think they're finally, it's who's going to go first, who's laying their cash on the table first. Oh, we'll give you the plans if you tell us you're going to do this. Okay, we'll do that if you spend this, and da-di-da-di-da, and here they are. And it all really looks like it's going to go ahead. And I say the Etihad campus at Man City, but this sounds like the Etihad campus on steroids, doesn't it? It's going to have multiple sort of arenas, a new stadium for Birmingham. And remember, this, I think, where does it go? London, Manchester, Birmingham? Where does it go? London, Birmingham, Manchester. I don't know in terms of populations, but certainly there's enough people in Birmingham to fill a 62,000 capacity stadium, which is what is in the plans there. And then I think there's going to be a stadium for the academy teams and the women's teams and the under-21s to play at, and an indoor arena for other sports teams to play at, and pop concerts, I guess. And what they don't have at the Etihad is the whole leisure entertainment side of it, with restaurants and cinemas and all of that. It sounds absolutely monstrous, but they needed this kind of transport link thing to be confirmed by the government, and that is what was confirmed yesterday. So it looks like all good to go for just Birmingham City to have basically Manchester City plus levels of infrastructure around their stadium, which just sounds absolutely incredible, doesn't it? I mean, if you're a Birmingham fan, you will feel like you've won the lottery with all of this going on. I detect there may be some signs of jealousy from other football supporters, but if I can take my football hat off and put it to the side, this, as I say, is not a posh area. And first and foremost, if this ploughs money, and football fans don't like it, but kind of tourist money and people coming into the area, which creates jobs, which just brings up the kind of level of, kind of just life, your lifestyle, if you're living in that area, then football aside, that can only be a good thing. And how will it relate to what is going on the pitch? Because I'm sure people watching this video will probably think, well, Birmingham's owners, they're not a bit, I don't take them seriously. They're a bit of a joke, aren't they? They're the people that came in, had John Eustace, sacked him, when Birmingham were up towards the playoffs, brought in Wayne Rooney, had a complete disaster, sacked him, brought in Tony Mowbray, he got unwell, brought in Gary Rowett, had 4 managers in the season, and then got relegated. Yeah, that doesn't look great, does it, in their first season? But what has happened since, what is happening now, and what looks like is going to happen in the future does look absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Birmingham heavily backed financially in League One last season. And there's always this argument we get from people with the PSR rules and owner investment being very different in League One than it is in the Championship. We do get this argument that, are you a bit more free to spend money and build, certainly not infrastructure off the pitch, because that is protected by PSR as good spending, but on-pitch spending, are you almost better doing it in League One than you are in the Championship? And Birmingham obviously built a completely monstrous team with Jay Stansfield, obviously the big headline signing there. But, I mean, no, that wasn't I suppose that's the tip of the iceberg, but there's plenty of other iceberg to go with that in terms of excellent playing staff at Birmingham. We expect things to go on as well this summer. We're looking at James Beadle as well, who's a highly rated keeper, you know, in the middle of the Championship for Sheffield Wednesday. And I assume, who's his parent club? It's Brighton, isn't it? I assume they want an upgrade for him for his next loan move. And you do the maths. If Sheffield Wednesday were here and they're expecting Birmingham to maybe be here, then, you know, that says where I think everyone's kind of pitching Birmingham to be straight out of League One in the Championship. Obviously, ungodly points. That was 100, what was it, 111 or something ridiculous in the end for Birmingham last season in League One. That's a record that's probably not going to get beaten for a long while, isn't it? Incredible promotion, and they just look raring and ready to go. I get asked a lot, because I'm an Ipswich fan, from Birmingham fans about the possibility of back-to-back promotions, and don't rule it out is all I'll say. We have this situation in the Championship where for the last couple of seasons you've had the parachute teams at the top. You've had a high tide at the bottom. And unfortunately, Birmingham fans will know all about that high tide, because 2 seasons ago, that's what caught them. They got caught by the high tide and relegated with 50 points. And the point I'm making about the high tide at the bottom is the sheer absence of mid-table challenge in the Championship. It feels like you're either battling in a pretty high standard to get away from the bottom. And frankly, if you're not a relegation team, there's no mid-table. You're pretty much then fighting for the playoffs in the last couple of seasons. And that's, you know, that's going to be the... I mean, look, answer this question. If Birmingham, are they going to be a relegation team? Very, very unlikely. Therefore, they could easily be in the playoff fight. And if you're in the playoff fight and you're doing well, you're pretty much in the promotion battle as well. To circle back to the off-pitch stuff, though, I mean, when you get well-moneyed projects like that, or like this, I always think there's only so long it can go before that money talks. And if you're building up an infrastructure, which is, I mean, let's be quite frank about it, this is not even a Premier League infrastructure they're building up. This is a top elite, I don't want to say Champions League, because people will clip me out saying, you know, oh, Birmingham Champions League and all that. I'm talking about the off-pitch infrastructure. And if they are able to draw 60,000 fans in this amazing facility, then you know what the on-pitch match for that is. And look, there's plenty of work to do on the pitch to get there. But you never know, with a fair wind and a bit of momentum, how that could go. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Look, we're going to get 2 horrible extremes here. We're going to get fans of opposition clubs over here who are a little bit jealous of what's going on, because frankly, everyone would like a £3 billion generation of the area their club is playing in, and owners to be ploughing money in, and a new stadium and the trajectory to be upwards. So, look, try and see it for what it is. If it was your club, you'd probably like it. And yeah, let's not let that green-eyed monster come out. And by the same token, if you're a Birmingham fan and you're very carried away, and I don't blame you after some crappy years under Trillian and a ridiculous relegation down to League One. Let's exercise some humility and move in from those extremes in the debate. But let me know what you think the future looks like next season on the pitch for Birmingham, but going forward over 5 or 10 years. If you thought these owners were the silly Wayne Rooney League One relegation owners and shouldn't be taken seriously, well, let me tell you, I think looking at what's going to go on there over the next 5-10 years, you may need to revise those plans. Let me know your thoughts on Birmingham's scarily ambitious strategy going forward, and how do you think it's going to go?